I'm going to have to figure out how to get this coffee and mic thing like normal. I think my coffee drinking hand is the other side. So I'm just going to switch it to this side. So anytime I want to take a sip, it'll be over here. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Evan Dangerfield, and welcome to a new segment of the podcast, the solo segment, where I come on here for 15 minutes, maybe less, who knows, drink a cup of coffee with you guys, and talk about life, business, the day, whatever kind of comes to my mind. So let's begin. I also will use my trusty ChatGPT to help me come up with any questions so that I don't run out of things to talk about. But right now, what's going on with life is I have a wedding today. I'm really excited for. It's Henna and Cole, and I'm excited for this one particular because it's a newer package to my package system for weddings, and newer but not. I've just changed some things around so that it becomes more appealing for people. It's a 6-hour package and just one camera, very documentary style with the pro audio and multiple audio backups and stuff still. But I'm excited because I won't have to be setting up a bunch of tripods, which means I'll be able to stick around the most important people of the day and capture them more, which is awesome. And so I'll probably get even more authentic stuff. So it's kind of like how it would be if it was the higher package with 2 videographers, where it's like I'd be able to stick around and get more authentic shots while the second shooter goes, or the second videographer goes and sets up the tripods while I'm getting those shots, and then he'll be able to get the other detail shots and stuff for the day. So I'm really excited. I've done something similar in the past, and that's what made me kind of want to change things around. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm starting kind of later in the day too, which is interesting. So I'm going to start at 3, and then it'll be till 9 p.m. So I'll be there for all the main events and the speeches, and then I'll head out right after 20 minutes of open dancing, and then it'll be fun. So yeah. And then I've also been I've been looking into doing some more bundle packages with photographers. I've done one with recently. I've done it in the past before, but I've recently just reintroduced that dynamic to my business, and it's been really cool. I've booked one for next year with Nelson Cinematics, shout out, and love her style, and her workflow is really calm and easy going, which I like. So that'll be super fun. I could just talk about, I'm sorry if I just talk about business, because it's 80% of my brain is just client experience, business, CRM, editing, all that. So what was I saying? I was going to say something about, oh shoot, it's a coffee break for Evan's brain. That's what I was gonna say. Okay, I gotta remember to put this mic closer to my face because it's not my lapel. So super stoked about I'd say a medium to large package, I guess you could say, that I have coming up to in May, and that one's I'll have kind of a team of people for the first time. I've done weddings where it's a team of people, and shout out to Josh Vassar in Alaska. He's the one that kind of made me inspired me to go this direction, where I have intercom systems so I can talk to my shooter, and then so it'll be me, my second videographer, and my content creator, and then so we'll just be doing the whole day, and I'm stoked for all the beautiful images that'll be coming out of that day. And I'm excited for this, especially because the content creating that I'm starting to do is is a lot different than traditional content creating. So traditional content creating is where someone with the best iPhone comes out either with a gimbal or nothing. Like a gimbal is what a stabilizer for your phone, and they'll just kind of get shots of throughout your day, and that's a great fit for some people. Like, don't get me wrong, that's awesome. Um, they tend to charge around $1,500 to $2,500 for around 6 to 8 hours of coverage, and that's great. But obviously, since I'm a storyteller and a videographer, I'm super biased to the gorgeous colors and the deep, the darks and the richness of images that come out of professional cameras. So that's the whole difference, is that my videographer will be shooting off of a Sony A7X3, I believe. It's one of the more popular Sonys, like the newer ones. And probably I just on the 24 to 70, getting all those amazing shots. And then that night, I'll have it transferred onto my laptop and given to the couple so they can post things that night, which is going to be amazing. So, and then that'll be shot with Tori, and I'm pretty sure she's bringing a second photographer as well. So it's going to be a big team, but hopefully, it's at a venue that is a little bit more spread out, so you'll be able to kind of like, it won't be so overwhelming, if that makes sense. Where like you're having just like a big group of people follow you around the whole day. So, yeah. But I'm really excited for that. And then I have one similar to that in Colorado in June that I need to buy a airplane ticket for and hotel. And that plan is still in the process of being planned. The couple, Nick and Nicole, they're planning it all themselves, and so it's wedding planning can be intense, and so I'm pretty flexible with them, if that makes sense. Where it's like, all right, yeah, take your time, you guys, no pressure type of thing, because the last thing you want for a couple is for them to feel overwhelmed and not looking forward to the day, if that makes sense. It should make sense. I don't know why I ask if it makes sense. Probably because I'm just talking to a camera. But that's okay. So I'll keep asking it. Let's see what else is going on. Okay, so yeah, that one's going to be really fun because we're going to go up. Um, the the day of, they're doing an elopement style ceremony with private vows up on a mountaintop in Colorado. And then afterwards, we're going to like have breakfast, go down the mountain, go to their own property, which is like a dog training property. So they got like 5 acres or something that they're going to do all themed and stuff, and have a bunch of people out for another like not a mock ceremony, but like another ceremony for the guests. That's going to be a pretty short ceremony. And then the reception is going to be like crazy awesome. I'm looking forward to it. They mentioned having like a bull and um, just like games and drinks and stuff like that, which is going to be amazing. What else? What else I've been working on? Obviously, I mean, I'd probably say 50% of you guys know that I do other projects other than weddings, but it kind of just varies depending on how busy I am with weddings. Weddings always takes priority because it's what brings me the most joy and creativity, I believe. But I also do some real estate, photo, video, content stuff for some realtors, and then I do some small to medium, large businesses, um, and just wrapped up a pretty big project in January, and now I'm like kind of like on the lookout for another business to start a project with. And so I'm really excited about that. Just kind of like doing a little outreach type of thing. But the way I like to do it is like super low pressure. I used to, like when I first started out with videography, I used to go out and literally go door to door to businesses and say, hey, I'm Evan Dangerfield. I do videography. I would love to start a project with you. Like, are you interested? Type of thing. Like a very hard sell. And now that I've had a little bit more experience with it, what I'm doing now is like, obviously all that time is a lot of time going door to door, but I still want to get my name out there. So what I've been doing is researching businesses that I'd be interested in actually telling their story. And then I go to their website, I do some kind of reconnaissance for what they need. And then I do a short video for them, just like introducing myself and kind of telling what I can help them with. And then sending that in an email and a text to a YouTube link. So I'm excited for that. And then what else is happening? I've also been doing some French ring trials. Just came back from Ohio, which was super fun. They had, so if you guys don't know what French ring is, which that'll be probably a whole nother podcast episode with a guest, most likely. Basically what it is a sport for dogs and their trainers to compete. And the whole point is to like test the dog's courage and its speed, tenacity, its listening skills to the handler. So like when a dog is biting the decoy is the guy that's in a suit, a protective suit. And the handler like says a command for the dog to let go of the decoy and like stay where the decoy is, but not biting. They will like judge points based off of like how fast the dog will, it's called an out, how fast the dog will out and stuff like that. So it's this very complicated, fun sport. But anyways, I just got back from Ohio. And they had like 6 or 7 dogs out there. But it was raining the entire time, which was crazy. Like working, we call it working dogs in like a lake is insane. And it obviously like in the suit, you just get like super tired because it's a workout because you have like this, I don't know how heavy the suit is. It's probably like 30 pounds, I would assume. At least it feels like 30 pounds. And then you add the water weight to it and it's even heavier. And so it's a really good, that's kind of what keeps me fit for weddings, and videography is this sport, which is super fun. So yeah, that'll be on another podcast though. Let's see, I'm almost 14 minutes into this. I'm halfway through my coffee and I'm feeling good. Today's a good day. It is let's see, it's almost 10 o'clock on a Saturday, April 12th. I need to be at the wedding a little early, so at like 2:30 to set up and start filming the day. But yeah, it's gonna be just a chill, fun day. And then tomorrow we have some training for in the morning, and then the rest of the day I think we're just gonna like do errands and grocery shop and stuff. Probably go to Costco because we're out of the Costco runs are like starting to become more frequent because I'm trying to be more health is wealth. And so Costco protein, steaks, berries, and like a green drink and vitamins and stuff is like all I've been eating recently. And then the occasional cheat meal, which I need to cut back on because that is my kryptonite, is food. I love it. And then let's see, is there anything else? So that's what I was saying, is that we're going to Costco a lot more often because we're actually eating the food that we buy, which is good. Um, so that's become kind of part of our weekly or like twice a month routine. And then what else? Oh, these tariffs I've been watching. That's interesting. Obviously, I don't talk about politics on this podcast, um, but that's more like current events than anything. And so, my favorite camera brand, Lumix Panasonic GH5 S5 Mark II, is like my favorite camera brand right now for photo and video. And I was just looking at their prices on Amazon, and it's gone up by like $300. And so I was like, okay, um, I'm glad like the tariffs or whatever I think have been paused for most countries. But then I go look up what, if you hear my girlfriend, she's on a call, by the way, with a client, which is fine. I'll do audio isolation and see if it'll just pick up my voice or something. And then it's funny. And then what was I saying? Uh Shoot. Okay, so the camera, yeah. And so I was looking at it and I was like, shoot, I should have bought another camera when I wanted to before the tariffs. And now I'm deciding either wait. I mean, it's only $300, but wait and see if it goes. Oh, so I looked up who makes Panasonic and where it's made, and it's made in China. So I'm like, shoot, I don't know how fast they're going to be like taking the tariffs off. So my decision's like, should I wait or should I buy it now and just eat the extra $300 cost? That's my dilemma. I don't know, because who knows how long it's going to be. So I'm also going to sell a drone. I've found that I've only been using one drone, and it's got the better image quality. So I've just been doing that. So I'm going to sell a drone. And then, yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to recently. Of course, there's always like some house projects and stuff that are always pending. My office is still not decorated, as you can tell. That's, I guess, one of the next parts that we want to do. Like, we want to obviously decorate the entire house and make it look nice so that we can film in every area. But I really want to make like this corner, at least, a good podcasting space and like make it look nice so people can come on and feel like, oh yeah, I'm actually going to get something out of this, like a copy of the podcast that I can clip up into to clips and stuff. So that's next. I'm debating, we're like deciding these chairs or different chairs, and then like what backdrop and branding signs. I don't know. So there's some decisions to be had. Excuse me. Another coffee break. And then that's one thing that I will say about filmmaking is like gear is such a trap. Like, buying gear does have its place. Don't get me wrong, because like the image quality is better, or like a new lens might get you more inspired to make something that you kind of put off or something. Because you have like more versatility and more creativity to put into your shots. But man, you can pretty much get away with a 24-70 and one camera for most things. And then if you need extra cameras, you just hire a person that has a camera. Because there's tons of videographers in the valley, and most of them are very skilled. And so, but I often get in the trap of like, ooh, what's the next camera I need to buy? And then I'm looking at the cameras that are like literally costs like $20,000. And I'm like, that'd be so cool to have a cinema camera. But then you have to buy cinema lenses too, which are sick and they have really cool image quality. Um, but then, a case of those can run you, well, the cheapest ones can run you like, oh my gosh, like $800 per lens. So you're probably looking at like, for a pack of like all the lenses that you would need, probably around like 5K, I'd say 5 or 6K for like the cheaper end of cine lenses. And then the probability of never using them, because it's such a pain and it takes so much time to like replace each lens for each shot. Yeah. But and then there's the old gimbal that I want to replace too, and I'm like, oh man, I pretty much never use a gimbal for weddings. I will mix it in with business storytelling if it needs like a sweeping shot. And again, I mean, I will sometimes use it with weddings too if there's like a specific thing that I want to capture on that. But the idea has to come before, typically, not day of. And then for real estate, for my luxury videos, I will bring out the gimbal and get all those shots. But that's pretty light compared to other videographers on the gimbal use. So that's cool. But yeah, but the gimbal I have is fine. Like it works. It just doesn't have like certain cool features that I was like, oh, that would be amazing. So there's a lot you can do with just handheld. And especially with the image stabilization that Panasonic and Sony has, and Canon has too, but the internal camera stabilization, it's freaking awesome. And then when you want to have that like shakier footage, you just turn off this setting, and boom, you got a normal shaky cam type footage, which is awesome. Yeah. Okay, let's see if there's one more. I'll do one more question since we're at time. Ask ChatGPT here. Act like a interviewer interviewing me, my life and my business, I guess. There you go. Let's see what it pumps out. We've answered some of these. Let me see. So ask me on the wedding side, you only take about 20 weddings per year. Why that number? What does that allow you to do that maybe other wedding vendors can't? So I say I book around 20 weddings per year because anything more than like 25 or 30 weddings per year gets to be a lot. And in my opinion, I just feel like you can't deliver the best experience if you're spread too thin across all of your clients. Like I want to know when a wedding date is coming up without even like looking back at notes, what their name is, who they are, what they like, and their vibe. And when it becomes more than that, I'm like, there's no way to keep track of that. Like I'm not opposed to booking slightly more than 20 if it's a stellar client that I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are my vibe, then I will for sure. But tend to stick to that number for that reason. And then also I do edit all my videos myself. In the future, I may look into cutting some of the editing down just to like sending it to someone to cull through, which is culling means to cut out all the unusable footage and just leave the usable footage. and then have someone have someone cull it and sync all the audio and give me a prepped timeline that I can come in, choose the music. I'm totally going to sneeze. Hang on. Ah, woo. Choose the music and then just start layering in the story of it. But other than that, I can't foresee myself really like giving out all that work to someone else, because at the end of the day, they don't know the couple. They weren't on the calls. They don't know how to tell the story of their love, of them meeting, of the hero story of them becoming married better than what I can, because I was there. I lived it. And that's one of the big reasons to, leading on another topic, hang on, coffee. That's one of the other big reasons I tell people to stay away from, even if they don't book me, I tell them to stay away from the big corporations that book weddings at a cheaper price. There's companies out there that'll book weddings at $2K, $1K, $1,500. Sometimes that's photo video, sometimes that's just video. Just depends on the company. But basically what's happening in those companies, and I won't name names because I don't want any lawsuits or anything, but basically they hire a random videographer that sometimes may or may not be experienced in the industry. And so it's a total gamble who you get. And I've heard some horror stories of them having literally someone who just got a camera and that's their first wedding. And I get that people need to enter the business and have opportunity, but my first wedding was for a family friend and it was $300. That's how you're supposed to get into weddings, not having a client pay $2,500 for photo video and getting someone that's not experienced. And I've heard also that sometimes they lose footage. I've actually shot for one of these companies years ago and they lost the footage that I provided to them literally 6 months later, and the couple didn't have it. They didn't have it. And luckily, which I don't do this anymore, but luckily I had a backup from then. I back up all my footage. But for I don't shoot for other people, if that makes sense, for other big corporations. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, my own videos I have backed up on 3 different sources. Anyways, so they reached out to me and was like, "Oh my gosh, we lost all this footage. Do you have it?" And luckily I did. So it's just about reliability and trust. And that videographer won't be the one editing your footage. And that's where it kind of goes back to where I was saying, no one can tell a story better than the person that was actually there and lived it with you and had the calls with you and everything like that. So just keep that in mind. If, potential wedding clients are looking to book, I would always go with the artist before the corporation. And typically you will spend a little bit more on an artist than a corporation, but you will get a story that actually reflects who you are. And if you're not looking for something like that, then by all means, I will not judge. Go ahead and do you. But that's the precautionary tale I tell when people ask about it. So, all right, let's leave the podcast on a happier note. Let's find one more question because that was kind of a downer. This is kind of fun. When you look back years from now, what do you hope people remember about working with you? I hope people remember the positive attitude, the good vibes that I bring to the wedding day, and the care that I took into their film, and the willingness to keep that's not the right word, but to keep their camera rolling to get the shots that actually reflect who they are. And because that's what I'm all about, is providing a film that is actually you. It's not this overposed production where you're like acting through the day, I want it to feel just super genuine and you. And so you and your kids can look back on it if you have kids, right? And they can say, wow, like mom and dad weren't so different than me when they were younger. And I think that's the magic in it. And that's why I keep doing it, because it's what I love to do. And I tend to do that with all the other aspects of my work too in other areas. But so yeah, that's what I hope. And thank you guys so much for joining me on this little podcast. I'm actually out of coffee, so that was the perfect amount of time. Ended up running about 30 minutes. Go ahead and leave any questions, comments in the description or whatever down below. I forget how this works. I haven't done it for so long. Just kidding. I do it for clients. Yeah, give me more ideas of like other topics you want me to talk about. I still want to put more guests on the podcast, but I do find that this is a easier way to keep the consistency without keeping all the pressure of finding someone every single week or twice a month or whatever. So yeah, thanks for joining me for a little morning coffee conversation with Evan, and we'll see you on the next podcast.